Hey guys, this is Jason. Just want to take a few minutes and give you a little live update for the church and what we're doing. Not a whole lot of announcements, but I just wanted to say that we are having a Red Cross blood drive on the 14th of May. It'll be in the afternoon and evening between 1 o'clock and 7 o'clock. Now, because of social distancing and all the requirements for that, what we need is for you to go to the Red Cross website and make sure that you register for that ahead of time, so that you can they can have you an appointment time, you can show up at the right time, they can put you in place in line and so forth, and manage that. Also, Robin is beginning to take donations for VBS. She sent me a list and I forgot to include them in my weekly email. Sorry, Robin. But we will forward that on to you so that you have those things. If the situation with the coronavirus continues to improve over the next month or so, then what we're going to do, we're still putting it off, but it'll be in the end of July, and so we can do that. And so just remember, we're going to send you a list. You can start donating. We got some time, and there's not a whole lot of things to donate, but we'll get you that information so that you can have that. And so blood drive, VBS, just know that we're praying and thinking about, as elders and leaders of the church, when we do go back to church, and how soon that may be, and not only how soon it might be, but what it looks like when it is. Whether or not we do this or whether or not we do that. More than likely it'll be worship only. No Sunday schools or small groups. No children's ministries. No touching the door handles, and no passing the plate. And so anyway, there's a lot of things that we're gonna look at and pray through and try to be as careful as we can once we do get back to attending a service together. And we'll go in very slowly. And so realizing that there'll be some of you who will not be comfortable going out yet, that's okay, that's fine. So you'll get no judgment from any of us whenever we do start back if you're not feeling like coming out yet. So that's okay. We're going to continue doing our social media ministries on YouTube and Facebook Live so that you can watch those and then join with us even though you're not with us physically. Whenever we do start back, we're going to make that a continued major portion of what we're doing at Western Heights. So that having been said, let me take just a few moments and just give you the Bible verse that we're memorizing for the week, the fighter verse, and it will just give you something as a piece of hope to cling on to. Maybe you're having a COVID-19 depression day, or you're just going through a tough day period. This will be something that'll just help you out. It's from Lamentations chapter 3. That's our fighter verse for the week, and we're memorizing this. It's a familiar passage that you've read before, but you have to know the context for it to mean what it really supposed to mean. The context was that Jeremiah was watching his entire world fall apart. The Babylonians had come in and were destroying the whole city of Jerusalem. They were destroying the temple. They were looting everything, burning the city. God had told him judgment was coming, but he never imagined it would be like this. And so if you could think about the end of the world as you know it, and the coronavirus, doesn't compare to what Jeremiah was seeing. I mean, he was seeing an invading army destroying the city and terrorizing the country. And so the country was going to go under the control of another empire. And they were brutal. They were killing people left and right, burning the city, etc. So it was bad. And so as Jeremiah watched this happening, he's writing this book. The book's got 5 chapters. And outside of these verses that you're going to look at from about verse 21 to about verse 26. And we're just going to look at the ones we're memorizing this week, 21, 2, 3. But outside of those verses, it's a pretty hard book. It's hard to read because of the destruction and how bad Jeremiah felt. And so there's basically 4.5 chapters of agony and torture for his soul, and the terrible things that he was seeing in Jerusalem. He was called the weeping prophet, and this is in part because of it. The lamentations are the mourning and the weeping that he shared. But let me read you the verses. These are our fighter verses for the week, so make sure that you spend some time over them, meditating on them, memorizing them, and we'll look at those again later. It says, "But this I call to mind, and therefore I have hope." Okay? So he says, I have hope because I call these things to mind. "The steadfast love of the Lord never ceases. His mercies never come to an end. They are new every morning. Great is thy faithfulness." Now, let me add number 24. It says, "The Lord is my portion, says my soul, and therefore I will hope in him." So this is a powerful text. It is at the heart of the book. It's kind of in the center, but it's the only part of the book that has any hope in it at all. So I think what's practical here and what we need to remember as we are going through COVID-19, which again is minuscule compared to what Jeremiah is seeing, is that there is pain in our lives. A lot of it. God allows and designs pain in our lives to be able to do what needs to be done and accomplish what he needs to accomplish. So what do we do with that? Because every time that pain comes up, serious pain, serious illness, loss of life, financial ruin, whatever you go through, divorce, failure, job loss, you name it, fill in the blank, pain and destruction in your life, you ask the question, okay, what is going on? How can I make sense of this? You have those questions that come up like, okay, either God is not able, powerful enough to stop it, which, that's not a good option. Or God is not a loving God because he's allowing it to happen even though he's powerful enough. He could stop it and he doesn't, so he doesn't love us. That's not a good option either. Then we ask the question, does our pain have no purpose? Does it lack design? And I think that's hard. And we call into question God's sovereign judgment and purpose and hope. When we suffer, those are thoughts that run through our mind. And again, this is natural, it's normal, and so that's where we go. And so Jeremiah says, look, there is hope. There is hope, and this is the reason there's hope. I'm calling these things to mind, and it's the only reason I have hope. And so what he says here, he says that the steadfast love of the Lord never ceases. Now that's the reason he can have hope. The word there is the word chesed, which means the steadfast love or the covenant love or the faithful love and care and concern and compassion. It's used like 250 times talking about the love of God in the Old Testament. So this is an intense word where we go, wow, this is awesome. The love of God never ceases. So in the middle of the worst case scenario that you can imagine, Jeremiah says the love of God never ceases. I know this to be true. Sometimes during pain we have to readjust our view of God in the sense that, some of those things that we called into question about his character, those doubts that we had, those worries and fears that we had, we have to revise God in our mind and just remind ourselves, renew our trust, because his love, his steadfast love, never ceases. The next thing he says is his mercies never come to an end. That word mercy, it means like a mother over a child or a family member to another who's very sick, and there's this kind of inner love and emotional attachment that he makes there. And so he says the mercies never come to an end. They're new every morning. And so every morning he gets up, he's going through this terrible, awful situation. The mercy of God gets him through the day. And so Jeremiah is seeing this awful stuff happen, seeing babies being slaughtered, walls being burnt down, rulers killed, and livestock being slaughtered. Everything is being demolished. And he's saying, look, the mercies of the Lord are new every morning. Listen, guys, whatever you're going through, know that the love of God never ceases, and know that His mercies are new every single morning. He has compassion upon you like a child every single morning. And there's enough mercy to get through the day. Now, don't think that you're going to have mercy today to get through the next week, okay? Every day you're going to get what you need for the day. Jesus said, sufficient for the day is the evil thereof, and so His grace will be there for that day. And Jeremiah says, great is your faithfulness. God, you're faithful. You love us. Your mercy never ends. And then he said, the Lord is my portion. It's the thing that sustains me. God is the thing that is the strength in my life and my portion forever. So it's pretty much just an amazing truth that Jeremiah is seeing the world in as he knows it, that things are never going to be the same. Things are being crushed. The economy, the government, freedom, life in general, everything is being crushed all around him. And yet he says, I'm going to trust God. I'm going to receive this for the glory of God, because God's got a purpose and God's got a design. And when He does that in my life, He's bringing about His perfect will. And even though I don't know what it is, I know that God's doing that. And so Jeremiah says, I'm going to wait on the Lord. That's in verse 25. And He's going to be good to me. God is always faithful. His compassionate and mercy is always there. He's always wise and purposeful, and He's always sufficient. It's some alwayses that we can just rest on and be our rock when things are going bad. So I don't know if you had a bad day, or if you're having a bad month, or if this COVID thing has just pushed you to the brink. I don't know if your world has just come crashing down, but whatever it is, go to Jeremiah chapter 3, or Lamentations chapter 3, verses 21 through 25, and sink your anchor there. Because that's what Jeremiah did. He sank his anchor into the character of God and said, God, I believe, and I'm going to trust in you. All right, I hope that helps. I hope it gets you through your week. You'll hear more about our plans for the future. Remember the blood drive, and remember VBS and the other things going on this summer. Okay? Love you guys, and I look forward to seeing you soon.